Hey, guess what, guys? This is a Sunday night conversation, June 9th, 2024, live from the Man Cave Studio B, deep in the heart of mostly conservative, constitutional Livingston County, Michigan. This is a Sunday night. Here's our guys at the table, but I'm going to bring you over to Moa and finish up with the rest of the intro. Returning guest Shane Trejo is at the table. Yours truly, the ever-present earwig. I'm the real Tim Allen. When Larry's not here to do his intro, I will do it reluctantly. Thank you. I appreciate it. This is my brain, not my brain, his brain, your host, the always present, always on time, never late because a wizard never is, your host, Jeremy Scott Gibbs. Right there.
We're here. We're here. Shane's here. We're here. Do I have hair? I have hair.
Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Let's get his mic up. Let's get his
Go
mic
talk
up.
again.
Can you hear me?
You know what?
You hear me now?
No, it's that. You know what I'm going to do? We're going to do this right here.
Now?
Give me that. I noticed it while we were warming up. No, keep your earphones. Give me this. Give me that. And that's the technical difficulties that. Throw that one away.
Yeah.
All right. Put that one on you, Shane, and we'll get you.
We didn't quite get the logo on the Man Screen screen.
Oh.
Not quite there.
We were close. We were excited. We were watching the end of the race there.
That's right. We were, for sure.
And Shane was flying in.
We are not late. We are exactly on time, as most Trejos are never late. They're always on time. Like wizards,
Exactly.
they arrive exactly when they mean to.
Are you on, buddy?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Can you?
That's good.
Not really.
Let me see what that
Which
is.
pot is he on?
He's on 2.
Okay. Speak.
Can you hear me now?
Not really. Okay.
I'm bringing up the gain on that
Yeah,
one.
I just did it too.
Let's try it. Check.
Check.
All right.
That's
Well,
better.
I guess. Whatever.
Here, let's bring the gain up. I don't know why that one's so quiet. You were getting picked up more by my microphone than you were your microphone. And that's not cool. Now you're good. We're good. All right. Welcome, Shane. What the hell is going on, man?
Not too much. Is there a light in my what's that in my face?
Oh, pay no attention to that.
Pay no attention to the men behind the curtain.
No, that's the. He's seeing the mouse that nobody else can see over top of his face.
No. Yeah. It's not.
Oh, the mouse. That's the mouse. Okay.
Yeah. Ignore.
I thought it was some sort of light.
What the hell is that, man?
Ignore that dot. Ignore that dot on your forehead. Is not really
Nothing.
there.
Which one do you want to go with first? You want to go with the?
Okay, actually, that is my mouse on his
I
forehead.
thought I was seeing things again. I would have to go back to the nut house.
That one.
We can go with this one first. Mark my words. From Nigel Farage. You want to go with that?
Or no, let's go to the Twitter, the tweet about it's like twitter.com/Visegrad24.
Help me out over here.
That one.
That one first. Okay. All right, buddy.
Let's pull that up. We can talk a little bit about the European Parliament elections.
Should I open that in another window?
I don't think too many conservatives in America are aware of that the European Parliament elections were this weekend.
Yeah.
And the amount of victories that right-wing parties got in throughout Europe is immense. So different parties, including the one that I just went to Romania that I went to toured their headquarters, interviewed their leadership, went to their Make Europe Difference in Bucharest. The AUR party, they gained massively and are going to have major representation in the European Parliament right now.
Before you dive
let's get into
these stories, how about you read the wall for us, Shane?
You want to read the wall for us, Shane?
I can't really read well, but
okay,
wait, no, okay, I got it.
No, he's going to put it behind him. I just already put it on the screen.
Go ahead.
He's going to put it on the wall behind him.
This is my brain. Notice This podcast is mostly raw and unfiltered and completely politically incorrect. We say Merry Christmas and the Pledge of Allegiance, especially the part about one nation under God. We thank our troops for their service. We only recognize 2 genders. As adults, we enjoy adult beverages. We cuss. We do not curse or swear. We love Jesus but hate religion and religious hypocrites. If any of this offends you, please leave.
You've been warned. All right, there. That's out of the way. I don't think we need anything else. Are we good? No other disclaimers you need to give?
No, man.
The opinions
Shane is here of his own free will.
Everything that I say represents me and me only, and whatever.
And whatever.
And what the ever. All right, let's do this. So we got this Nigel Farage, or this the tweet pulled up.
Yes.
And so see if I can make that a little bit better.
The Fidesz party that's Hungary. They got 44% representation in the European Union for the country of Hungary.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure where all these other places are, but as you can see, they're rising fast. All of them are right of center parties. Another one I'm familiar with is the Alternatives for Deutschland party from Germany.
Give me.
Okay. Oh, okay.
The noise you are hearing
much better.
Okay, and so the Alternatives for Deutschland party out of
did you Deutschland? Say Deutschland?
Deutschland?
Deutschland. I like Deutschland. Deutschland's much better.
Sorry, I'm a hillbilly. I just try to sound smart when I'm on this podcast. So the AfD party in Germany, they got 16.5% of the vote, which makes them now the second largest party in Germany. They were previously, had virtually no representation. They were called far right. They attempted to ban them, drove people away from them, did everything they could. The full media, deep state blitz that the Trump Republican Party's gotten here. It didn't work. They got 16.5% of the vote, and are now the second biggest party in all of Germany. The AUR. They're as I mentioned before, the Romanian, relatively new political party that is taking the country by storm. And they've never had right-wing conservative political representation, but that's changing very quickly with the rise of the AUR. The Confederation, they have 12% of the vote out of Poland. Vox, 10.5% in Spain. So all these parties are massively on the rise, and they're going to be a huge new voting bloc consolidation of different, like-minded groups that are going to be a very powerful force in the EU. So you see all this tyranny coming down from the EU. All the globalism. Let's take a million migrants.
The migrants. That was
And that's going to be changing quickly, because this is now, it's not just one country where it's taking off, like when Nigel Farage, which we'll talk about later, his political resurrection. But it's not like it's just happening in Britain with the Brexit and all the other countries are lagging behind. Now it's a movement throughout the continent of Europe, where all these conservative right-wing parties are taking hold at once. And there is a tremendous amount of momentum behind them. And more of the common people are seeing through the lies that, these are extremists or whatever. They want different representation. They're seeing what the globalists want to do to them. They want to shut down their farms. They want to import a bajillion migrants. They're pushing all this crazy,
what they call that?
Replacement theory, replacement migration.
Those are both right, but it's not the phrase I was looking for. But
replacement voters.
That's true. So they're doing a lot of they're trying to replace the indigenous populations with people who will keep them in power, which they don't understand the dynamic of, because they're that hungry for that power, that when you replace the indigenous population that you are part of, eventually you will get replaced. Nobody studies Robespierre and understands the French Revolution and the dynamics there of when you vilify the guys before you, and then you operate and you guillotine all of them. Eventually, you end up in the guillotine, which Robespierre did.
That'll happen to you.
Replacement democracy.
And, so pull up the next
replacement theory.
The next tweet, I believe, is the one that shows how Emmanuel Macron got BTFO. I think it's the second one. How he got, or no, this is the AFD. So,
do you want this one or you want the next
no,
one?
This is good. This is good.
Okay.
15.5% of the vote, surge amidst of backdrop against the Schultz's government. Migrants.
This is in Germany.
War, screwing them because of their pipeline with Russia.
Yep.
And then recently, she stabbed a policeman in the neck and murdered him at a.
I saw that video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
he was a migrant person and attacked the person, the good guy.
I believe that was the case.
And then the migrant to come and do more stabbies.
Stab him in
and
the
came
neck
up and stabbed him in the neck, stabbed him in the head. He died, 4 days later?
He died so that was tragic, but it just resulted in waking up. So as the globalists push these policies, the more the public is going to see on a practical level how disastrous they are.
And people are waking up across the other world.
The last tweet, and that one's about what happened in France, which is really, really good news. So what happened?
Because they bounce back and forth between being compromised and not compromised. So this is Marine Le Pen.
So Marine Le Pen, she's had her nationalist party, I believe it's the National Front or something to that effect. So her party won 34% of the vote and just trounced Emmanuel.
Awesome.
So
now she's ran twice, right?
She's ran twice, but she's lost. But every time she gains, every election they gain more and more and more. And now they're almost to the point of where plurality party in France. So
was this her running again, or was this just her party?
This was her party.
Okay.
Really devastating. Macron's and apparently Macron's going to dissolve parliament and have new elections in the weeks to come
because he just lost
this, and because I think this is the final nail in the coffin. And he's going to basically bow out.
Well, just like the UK and many other European countries, France has whole sectors of their cities that are just literally cordoned off and told you can't go there. No-go areas because the migrants have overwhelmed it. And if you go in there, I mean, there's multiple videos that come up, videos and stories, reports that come up on X and on mainly on X because it's only one of the free speech platform out there, but exposing the fact that the migrants are just doing the rapies on a regular basis, just gang raping anybody that strays into the area that they've occupied.
Well, if you look at the numbers, and before any of the migrants, Sweden had virtually 0% rapes. There was so few rapes. It was now that's up 900%, and it's the migrants who are doing
all
the
migrants. Okay, so that's good. Do we want to hit the last one?
Let's go to the Farage story. So Nigel Farage, he orchestrated the Brexit back in 2016. Then he retired.
Yeah.
And you see him. If you go to any national political conferences, he'll be there having a smoke or having.
Yeah.
He TV shows for a while. In the past few months, he's made his return to politics. His new party is the UK Reform Party.
UK Reform.
And now, just after a few months, they're going to basically destroy the Tories, which are the Conservative Party of the UK. Basically think the Republican Party only worse.
Yeah.
That's the Tories. And the Tories have, ever since the Brexit happened, they've squandered all the momentum.
Yep.
They've let in just as many guest workers. They haven't. Here comes Nigel Farage. He's going to take some of the Liberal voters, and he's going to absolutely devastate the Conservative Party and perhaps ruin them forever, which is great. And America just toast immediately. We would all be better off. And because their system is more proportionally based and not a two-party system, that's someone of they
can have legitimate third and fourth party candidates that rise and win.
Yep, and that allows a guy like Nigel, who's very politically adept, to come in and knowing I'm going to leave this, let them mess it up, so I can come back in and really take them down.
But that
that for 30 years.
That was his dynamic when he came in and he ran for EU Parliament and called out who was called him a hanky or called him he's like, you look like someone who's gets out of bed and doesn't even know how to comb his hair. You were disheveled. You were that guy was, but just laid him out. But Nigel came in there and he said, I've watched multiple interviews with him, and he said, look, I came in for a specific purpose, told the vote going in for, and when he was done, he was done. Like you said, he's done podcasts, he's done a bunch of other things, but now he's taken the next into the first fight, what he said he was going to do. He when his fourth move, right, and he's kicking.
Sure when their elections are going to be, but they're coming up in the near future.
Yeah,
and he's going to have he's going to come in and devastate, especially the conservative party that has failed the public and
horribly,
and just everyone hates him. They from everything from COVID to
they failed on Brexit. The whole population voted for Brexit. Get us the fuck out of the EU. And what did they do? They said, oh, well, we kind of, of course you do. You're getting payoffs.
Yeah, and if migrants come in and, commit rapes or...
Sadiq Khan's running London. He doesn't care.
Yeah, commit hate crimes. They'll be let off with a slap on the wrist, but then if you go on social media and complain about it, they'll show up at your door, they'll fine you, they'll imprison you, you'll lose your job.
Who was the kid that taught his dog to Heil Hitler?
Yeah, they showed up.
He went to prison.
Yeah, he went to prison.
He went to prison for his dog. His dog, not even taught his dog. His dog was already doing some kind of paw thing, and he videotaped doing it, saying, doing this.
It was Count Dankula, right?
Count Dankula, yes, and it was all a joke.
Yep.
I think he did 6 months or 9 months,
something like that. Yeah. So it's like this Orwellian, system in Britain. The people hate it, and Nigel's able to tap into that and be the charismatic leader that they to lead them back to national glory. So that's really great news that's happening in Europe, and I think that
EU sweep.
The EU sweep.
Yeah.
And I think that most conservatives think that in America think that we're going to see similar results. I don't think that
the red ever come.
It's going to find. I think that's really
that's what we're going to get into,
grabs,
right?
And that's what we're going to transition to next.
The dark side of the Trump campaign.
Yeah, what's going on? A lot of not so good things going on with the Trump campaign right now.
And let's say this. Let's point this out. Donald Trump, and I've defended him from this perspective. He's a businessman. He is phenomenal at running an organization, but he's not a politician. He is not an actual conservative. To say conservative meaning grassroots conservative. He's an America first and a businessman and definitely a capitalist. But to say that he's a conservative, that is something that he's adopted more and more. Show themselves who they are. Look at it from when I always held these values, and they've become more and more, they've moved more and more. Trump has donated to both campaigns throughout years. He's going to do what's effective.
To help his business,
To help his business. In that dynamic, as a businessman, he's looking at the overall so he doesn't pay attention to all of the little details. He gravitates to people that he believes he can trust, that are going to do the best of decisions that are pertinent to him to make, but he's going to oversee the whole dynamic. And I think that's his number one failure in the first term. We can talk about COVID. We could talk about some of the other things that happened. But the only reason he trusted Fauci and Birx in the pandemic, is because they had been in those job positions for been exposed. And he probably never watched Dallas Buyers Club to see that Fauci was the one who spearheaded the whole AIDS campaign. But this whole Trump guy, I think that is very wise, very, very he doesn't kick them aside. Once they fail him, then he kicks them aside. Wants you to do your job, report back to him on how your job's going, let him give you some insights and things, but he's I've heard so many stories behind the scenes about Trump. And so with this, I think he's still learning from the first term and from this last, the guy that has to pay attention to the people he appoints, the people he trusts, and the people that he is and he's still learning. Let me say it that way. Would you agree with that?
I think he's learned the wrong lessons. I think that in 2022, people who did not have a reason, grassroots type, Dr. Oz, like
he's going to go safe bet now.
He's going with the safe bet now, and he's He's listening to Senator Steve Daines, who heads the. Daines is the guy who has Trump and others around Trump have him supporting Mike Rogers in the state of Michigan for the U.S. Senate, who embodies policies of the neoconservatives. Every bad Republican policy imaginable, Mike Rogers has supported it. So Trump
he's a big government guy that acts like he's a conservative Republican.
Now, the one thing I will say about Trump is, again, when he bad decision, when he does put his word behind someone who does fall down quickly, he's spent. He's COVID.
I would
quickly
for a lot because that's not a straight up fireable thing.
Correct.
And I think he wants people to trust his word when he endorses somebody.
Yeah.
But he's trusting other people within it. Give him the information on the endorsement. So I agree with you 100%, Tim.
Yeah.
If it's a personal thing within the business,
when he has the power to adjust,
he does. He does.
Quickly, yes.
But when he's in this political arena and he's endorsed the wrong person, he seems to be very slow to correct those endorsements.
But the people he's talking to are, again, that guy Steve Daines, who's the money man, the money man behind the Senate and getting senators elected. So that's why Trump has endorsed many terrible candidates. Matt Rosendale, who was like one of the strongest reps of the Freedom Caucus, was running in Montana. Trump immediately endorses the Rhino in that race, and he has the out. And so there's been a lot of instances of that.
Do you think he pays attention when the audience boos those choices? Because he's had multiple times where there's thousands of people there for a rally, and then he mentions one of those names of those people that the people know are rhinos, that are not true Trump supporters, people that are not true Make America Great people, and he hears the boos from the audience. Do you think he pays attention to that?
I mean, I would hope. There's been no change in the.
All right,
and now we're seeing it's hard to think of maybe like Carrie Lake and maybe a couple others who have been good endorsements, but now the bad outnumbers by a great extent, and one is just despicably bad.
Yeah,
and that's the one.
Which one?
That I.
Which one you want to go with?
Trump endorses. Oh yeah, first one.
That one right there.
Well, I don't know if you want a leader who picks his people by show of applause. Should I?
No. But you have to pay attention when everybody's there and supporting you 100%.
Sure.
And you talk about warp speed.
Yeah.
And half the crowd
goes.
This
or ballers no.
Yeah.
So Representative Bob Good is the leader of the House Freedom Caucus. His voting record is something like 95, 96, 97%.
Yeah.
Good. So he's one of the best guys we've had. He was elected to replace Denver Riggin, who was one of the worst never Trumpers in the early Trump administration. So Good is like the best example of someone who was a Freedom Caucus guy, a Tea Party guy, America First conservative who came in and rejected the status quo.
Okay.
So now Trump is supporting a Kevin McCarthy hand-picked replacement for Bob Good in the primary leader, the House Freedom. So this would neuter the
McGuire.
conservatives.
He's supporting McGuire over
McGuire, and you can ask any conservative record as a state senator. He's a rubber stamp for everything the status quo wants.
Yeah.
So the 5th District Republican Congressional Committee is, they passed a resolution imploring Trump to reconsider. A lot of the biggest, Steve Bannon, Matt Gaetz, they're saying we need to support Good. They're rallying on Good's behalf. So this is, pretty much Trump, McCarthy, the lead. And it has to do with main people who worked with Gaetz to get rid of Kevin McCarthy as speaker. So this is and his allies in Trump's ear, trying to poison Good, destroy the House Freedom Caucus, and Trump is going along with it because he's because of his ego, he's aggrieved that Good endorsed DeSantis for president when not one of the people who was trashing Trump. He just said, I prefer DeSantis, blah blah blah. And then as soon as DeSantis was out, Good was saying, "Oh, I'll support Trump." So it wasn't. And there are some.
He's got multiple people like that didn't support him initially. He's
come back around to.
Yeah,
but for whatever reason,
he's got Vivek out there as one of his mouthpieces. Yeah, not that Vivek isn't his own man, but Vivek was running against him. Mm-hmm. And then now Vivek is one of his number one mouthpieces.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's not to say that Vivek isn't his own man and speaking his mind, but he's definitely espousing the Trump platform on a consistent basis.
Yep. So there are a lot of people who went and supported DeSantis for president, and then immediately said, "Oh, after he lost, I'll support Trump." I just thought DeSantis was better.
Well, there were
none of those people are being shit sabotage Trump, and are now they're Jenna Ellis, for instance, people like that.
Right.
I understand shit listing them, but then someone like Bob Good.
I saw a post from her the other day where she was saying something really good, and I'm like, your little tear fest outside of the courtroom where you didn't stand your ground, and you acted like you did the wrong thing by representing Trump.
Yeah.
Did you no good?
Yeah, that was a stabbing in the back.
It was.
Good has one of the best records of anyone. Trump and his team are right now wasting resources that could be used in a myriad of ways to try to ruin him in the primary. And then we hear in Michigan, we just don't need these tough primaries because that's why we need Mike Rogers. We need him to be the guy because he's we don't need all this division in the primary. And you can pull up that second one too. So he endorsed challenger to Freedom Caucus Chair Bob Good. So we hear, we don't need these tough primary battles, but then Trump, at the behest of Kevin McCarthy, gets behind destroying one of the top conservatives in the U.S. House for the most petty of reasons. And it's people, and this is the common thread: people around Trump who are seizing upon his egotism to have him sabotage his own cause. And I think they're getting better and better at manipulating Trump in that way.
Do you think? And he's very personable. I watched it over the D-Day stuff where Biden was shitting himself in France. That Trump was on the phone. He just picked up a phone. It was on speaker. Somebody hit record. It wasn't for public. It wasn't necessarily. You can hear. It wasn't pre-planned, because that's the way this guy is. Report after report after report is this guy is personal. When something's going on, he calls up. He shows up because that's who he is.
He's the best at that kind of stuff.
He's the best at that kind of stuff, which boggles me. The ego is a factor. And I look at this and go, that's your best strength, is being the big boss who then connects individually with people, and yet you're not individually connecting. And I understand he's on the campaign trail. He's fighting these stupid ass lawsuits and these rigged trials. Okay. I understand it. To somebody versus his rival.
But Donald
conversation
was going some sort of campaign-related attack dog role. And then he listened to his advisors, the
And
same
didn't
one
do
who's telling him to go after Bob, and he didn't do it. And Laura Loomer has begged him on Twitter, like, please, like put Laura Loomer or a handful of people, including Laura Loomer, on endorsement advisory council. Roger Stone,
get
Laura
General
Loomer.
Flynn back in on the campaign and let him vet some people.
Yeah, so have a handful.
Of course, Roger
doesn't
Stone,
necessarily have to be everyone on that advisory council. Doesn't necessarily have to be a hardcore right winger.
No,
but just have them, going over this sort of stuff.
Get those people that have discernment over political loyalties. People that have discernment over political loyalties.
Yep.
I can sit down with half go. Is the other side of the aisle, just with a big R over your name, but your tactics, and you may come out in conservative favor, but your tactics and your ambition are exactly the same as the left side of the aisle, and I don't want anything to do with it.
Yep. And the bottom line is that Trump is the vast majority of these endorsements. It's Kevin McCarthy, Dane, to endorse stamp on it, exactly done. So this is a really bad situation, and they're saying that, oh well, we're going to take back the House, we're going to take back the Senate. Oh man, when Republicans will be in power, we're going to be able to do so many great things for America.
Yeah.
But then inevitably all these people will fold.
Yeah.
They're not going to. There'll be a handful of people who say we're not going to support this. They'll do their musical chairs act, and they'll be able to.
Mike Johnson, and Mike Johnson is completely compromised. I don't know what they have on that guy, but the minute he became the new speaker, he's voted against everything. He's approved all sorts.
Yeah, and the CIA, I guess, took him in the back room and showed him some intelligence that made him change all of his beliefs.
Totally compromised.
They probably doing something, and oh well, yeah, here's some intelligence. Oh,
right.
Oh, okay, I see.
Nothing more than what nanny's not from America or some shit like that with your adopted 2 kids. We don't know, but either way, they're not voting the way that we've expected them to vote as our representatives that we push for. Yeah,
precisely. And another thing is Nikki Haley. So President Trump, Nikki Haley. Not again. You talk about Bob Good. He let's say hypothetically, you argue devil's advocate. Oh, he really turned on Trump and supported DeSantis. So that's why Trump doesn't like him. Well, Haley ran against. She's that will staff his administration any better than he does his endorsements. When he's listening to those people, and those people who will be around him in his cabinet, in his advisor, his personnel will be any better than his endorsement. He's saying he's going to
bring 2 or 3. I mean, close people, right? Like a Roger Stone, General Flynn, Steve Bannon.
Bannon will be in prison.
Well, there's got to be somebody's got to step up in Congress and call that shit out. Okay, we just had Mayorkas say he's not even going to show up. Was it Mayorkas or?
Yeah. DHS guy.
Yeah. No. Who's the DOJ? The guy, the little wilting flower.
I hate that. Merrick Garland.
Okay. Merrick Garland just said he's refusing a subpoena. Is there anything going to happen to him? No, but we're going to throw Bannon in jail on July 1st.
Well, Senator Rand Paul has been one of the few people who has not endorsed Trump yet. They asked him why, and he said, well, Trump has been doing these things with, is he going to cut spending? What's with these endorsements? Things that have made me question,
raise an eyebrow,
whether I should support him or not.
Yeah.
And Rand Paul makes some great points. Rand Paul's PAC is one of the few that is working hard in Michigan to
There's Steve Bannon right there.
Is working hard. Rand Paul's PAC is working hard in Michigan to expose Mike Rogers' record as being a neocon, deep state con artist.
And you know the most powerful thing for Trump, and we know his ego. It's well documented, and you've elicited enough tonight on the show. But I think one of the most powerful things for Trump, and it was one of the most powerful things for Reagan, was when there was he even fell on the sword when it wasn't. He's like in the Iran-Contra. He's like, you know what? I didn't authorize this. I didn't say that this was the right thing to do. But and nobody told me. They just did this behind my back. But you know what? I'm the commander in chief, and the buck stops with me. Mm-hmm. And that took his status even higher. And I think if Trump came out and said, you know what? I've listened to my advisors. I trust my advisors in a big organization, government or business wise. You have to trust the people that advise you. But I've come to find out that this person was not the right person. He's yet to do that. He hasn't done that with the jab. He hasn't done that with a bunch of his endorsements. If he came out and just said that, his stock would go even higher, because he would let the people know that as much as his ego, however big his ego is, it's still not too big to admit or make it, not even admit he was wrong, but make a change. That's a simple thing. And these endorsements are horrible, dude.
There's no indication that any change is going to be made, that he has any problems with the inner circle around him, that it's going to be these people until the end. I would be shocked unless there's some sort of cataclysmic drop in the polls or something, which I don't see happening because look who he's going against.
But it's not because of these people that are around him. It's because of him.
Yeah, but the people around him that's his team. They're going to take credit.
Right.
They're going to ride that, Trump's momentum into positions of even higher authority. Mm-hmm. And then, who's going to be staffed in the administration. Now let's go into who's going to be the vice president. Have you seen the short list?
I have not seen the short list.
Okay, so that's
did you want to cover any more on Haley before we move on?
No. That's
okay.
We'll go into the short list.
Okay. What's the? Did you send that to me, or do we have?
I did. It's the one after.
It's the one after Haley. All right, let's do this from Axios.
The short list of people who Trump is considering.
Trump's doc requested VP Trump's doc request reveal. That's a weird fucking line.
That is a strange.
Trump's
headline.
Document requests reveal VP shortlist. That would have been better.
These are the people he is vetting for vice president.
Okay, let's see this. Vance
is good.
Vance is not horrible. Yeah. Burgum.
Who the hell's that guy? Why is this guy suddenly a thing? Why is he being shoved down our throats? Probably because he's compromised.
Little Marco. We don't want little
Senator
Marco.
Rubio.
Marco's been a little
weasel. Dirtbag establishment.
He was behind all the censorship with Alex Jones and all the other.
He sucks. Yeah, and has sucked for
non-media
a long time.
status. Tim Scott.
Tim Scott is again not. He came out. He came out in favor of Black Lives Matter and blows in the wind. Not a strong vice president.
Not strong. No. Ben Carson. I like Ben Carson.
Ben Carson is good too. So Ben Carson's the best name on this list by far. But
Ben Carson is not a strong enough personality, and he doesn't have a strong enough rhetoric. When he gets out there, he's very soft-spoken, but what he says is right on. It's conservative. It's phenomenal, and I love his story.
And I don't think that he'll advocate for himself strong enough. You know what I mean? These guys, a lot of these people,
they're going to push.
Going to be behind the scenes.
Oh yeah,
making deals, twisting arms, calling in favors, blackmail. That's what he'll be doing. That's what others on this list will be doing.
Yeah.
And Ben Carson won't be doing that, so he won't get.
How about Stefanik? I'm not.
Stefanik. She was one who she got her start as a Mitt Romney Republican.
Yeah.
She's come on board, and since she's come on board, she's been doing a lot better. So I can't really.
So what's her record
in that respect? But she is more of a moderate Republican, so would not be a good choice. Better than Rubio, but not a good choice.
Yeah. And how long has she been in the House?
Probably since like 2014, 2016. She got in really young, so I think she's still under 40, but she's been around.
Okay, so what?
At least three or four terms.
3 or 4 terms. Okay, so that's when you see senator. That's a 6-year. It doesn't mean you've been in there the whole time, but at least you've reached. We only have 100 senators. We got 423. What do we have in the House?
A lot.
Byron Donalds.
He's good, but I still think he has enough seasoning.
Right.
He's relatively
Does he have the gravitas?
Yeah, he doesn't have the gravitas.
Yeah.
I agree. And then Cotton, who's again another neocon. He might as well be Trump. Mike Rogers.
This is not a good list, man.
So it's a really bad list.
Where's Kerry Lake?
You don't see Vivek on the list. You don't see Tulsi Gabbard on the list.
Where's Ramaswamy on this list? Yeah.
It's just a very weak list. There's no outside the box candidates. It's just.
I mean, even Christie. I know she's been on a couple things recently, but she's been a great governor.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing about this, to pick this VP, the number one thing we have to acknowledge on this VP, it's not the strength of the VP, it's the terrifying effect of the VP to the left, to the Democrats, because if you pick a VP that's MTG, you pick a VP that's on the level with Trump,
VP,
they're not going to try to take Trump out as easily.
Exactly.
Because they're going to get the same.
Needs to be someone who, if Trump gets assassinated,
MTG, man,
they're just as
they'd be like,
almost as scared as them. That's
or
what you need to
more.
be thinking about in
Or more.
terms of a VP. But the inner circle, the same people who are basically deciding the nominations, are telling Trump, no, you need someone who, you need a Tim Scott because he checks these boxes. You need Marco Rubio because he checks these boxes. And, they'll bring these people on for support. They'll bring this money and blah, blah, blah. And it'll balance things out. All these insanely stupid political considerations.
Correct.
But these are the people in Trump's ear 90 to 99% of the time. It's all he's hearing.
Right.
And he's walled off. And my guess is on this whole list, it's going to be between either Marco Rubio and Tim Scott. Those are the only two on this list I see. Maybe Burgum, because for whatever reason, people have been pushing him. Seems like it's being artificially done.
Yeah.
So maybe they're
what's Burgum's record?
I
mean, he's North Dakota. I mean, he's
governing. Governor no one knew about.
What's he governing 100,000 people?
Yeah, he's a governor no one knew about and did nothing noteworthy. But now he's the guy.
What's the population of North Dakota? 400,000.
Not many, but it's not like he was Kristi Noem and did some things noteworthy.
Right.
He was just run of the mill.
Noem was huge on opposing all the shutdowns, all the lockdown stuff came out, but then she compromised on a couple other things just recently that has tarnished her record.
Yeah, she's wouldn't be great, but would be better than
it's the same as
8 of the names on this list.
Same as DeSantis. DeSantis was doing great. His track record was great until he came out against Trump and took Bush money.
Yeah. Exactly.
As soon as he took Bush money and everybody realized, oh, wait, you're in that. Yeah,
what are you doing?
Exactly.
All these rhinos are way too comfortable with you being president.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The Koch brothers will send you some cash. What's up, buddy?
So, that's not good. So I would expect to be Rubio or Scott. Be prepared to be very, very, very disappointed in the vice presidential pick.
Do you think ego-wise that he wants somebody much weaker than him versus somebody that they're afraid could take his spot?
But again, you got to remember, it's the ego. He doesn't want someone as big and bad as him. He wants someone who he feels like he's better than.
Which is stupid. I mean, he'd be better off picking General Flynn or.
He doesn't want another big. He doesn't want someone else.
Did you take over my screen, Tim?
Yes, it did.
He doesn't want someone else who's going to.
There's little Marco.
He doesn't want someone who's going to be difficult to deal with or might contradict them. He wants someone who is going to go with the plan and be an obvious subordinate to him.
I mean, hell, at this point,
that's why I would say number one would be Scott, because Scott's not going to be a guy who would ever be able to go against Trump. You know what I mean? In any major real way.
Not married? Is this his girlfriend?
He got a girlfriend. Remember how Cory Booker got a girlfriend?
Yeah.
Cory Booker got a girlfriend when he was running for president.
Arm Kennedy. Arm Kennedy. So you got 4 senators in there. You got 2 representatives, former HUD secretary, and a governor in that list. I don't like the list at all.
It's a very woeful list.
It must be his mom. No.
It's just embarrassment.
One picture that makes me nervous though is
as far as senators
this
go,
one.
Yeah, so but that was back when he was saying we need to take action against systemic racism because of George Floyd. He was the biggest guy on that.
And has he come out and corrected that record, or has he just stayed on that record?
No, he never corrected it.
George Floyd, the actual convicted felon, who knew the cop that was there, asked the cop. You could go through the whole story. Yeah. It's all bullshit. There's 2 other senators. It's like Court, Rand Paul. Rand Paul would be phenomenal. He's level-headed.
Yeah.
He's very tactful. He doesn't just jump the gun and come out there and scream about something. He waits. He's going after Fauci with
But does Trump want to hear his vice president say, well, I don't agree with Trump when he did this? No, He wants a guy who's going to march in lockstep and not outshine him in any way, shape, or form.
That's disappointing.
And that's why he got Pence the first time, because Pence was kind of a milquetoast guy.
Pence is a pussy.
Yeah, a pussy. So now he's going to go for a similar guy, just a different flavor of it. And that's who we're going to get. And now let's talk about what Trump's doing to actually win. So this is his new campaign. It's called Swamp the Vote.
All right. Before we do that, I want everybody to do this, okay? I'm going to pull this up real quick, and I want to talk about Swamp the Vote. I'm going to highlight this real quick, okay? This is one of the prayers that I have prayed over myself and the people around me for years, and I want to do this. It's right here. Here's the prayer in verse 15. Paul writes this in Ephesians chapter 1, and he says, for this reason, ever since I've heard about your faith in the Lord Jesus Christ and your love for all of God's people, I have not stopped praying or not stopped giving thanks for you and remembering you in my prayers. So one of the dynamics of remembering somebody in their prayers is whenever you think about that person, you're remembering them, you say a little prayer. Lord, help them. Lord, give them wisdom. So here's what verse 17, this is the number one verse. And I want you guys to, I'm asking our audience out there to do this. I'm asking our audience out there. Why is that doing that? Okay. And I don't want that stupid thing. All right. I keep asking the God of our Lord Jesus Christ, the glorious Father, that he may give you a spirit of wisdom and revelation so that you may know him better. And then it says, I pray that the eyes of your understanding or the eyes of your heart. This is, what version is this? Why does it keep doing that? The eyes of your heart may be enlightened in order that you may know the hope to which he's called you and the riches of his glorious inheritance in his holy people, his incomparably great power for us who believe. So I just want to ask everybody, whenever you think about President Trump, whenever it pops in your mind, whenever you're remembering, ask the Lord to give President Trump wisdom and revelation to know him, that Trump would know him better, because the prophecy from Kim Clement was that Trump would not be a praying president, but when he became president, he would be a president who prays. And I've seen too many behind the scenes footage of him having pastors around him. He's been filled with, he's become a believer wholeheartedly. He's been filled with the Holy Spirit. He loves to have pastors around him that lay hands on him and pray for him because he feels the power and presence of God so strongly. And so he feeds on that. What we need more than anything is for him to stop listening to these stupid advisors and start listening to the Holy Spirit within him to guide him and direct him and override this stuff, because he's picking the wrong people for these positions. And we need the God-ordained people to be in these positions to liberate this country and bring us back to a constitutional republic. Agreed?
100%. So, I mean, you can never give up hope. And, we'll talk later about the hope moving forward.
Yeah.
We will do a break, I suppose, and then come back with the hope. We've had the horrendous status quo.
Yeah.
Now we'll talk about
we've talked about the endorsements. We're going to do that. So we'll take a quick break after that. While we're taking a break, guys, watch this video. And as you do, ask the Lord to give President Trump and all the people around him a spirit of wisdom and revelation to know him better and to hear from the voice of God on the inside of them.
Especially this month. Happy Pride Month, everyone.
Oh, my God.
Oh, wait.
Demon in the middle.
I know. Tell me about it. Nope, not that one. This one. Wrong button.
Happy freaking Pride Month, everyone. Every year when June rolls around, I say a few extra prayers for our nation who thinks that celebrating Pride includes twerking in front of little kids, stripping down to the nude, and marching around in rainbow gear. Each June, Pride Month seems to get more and more disturbing, and 2024 is no exception. I'm Tyrion Rose with MRC TV and Culture. You're watching Woke of the Week, where I expose the most woke, progressive, insane, and crazy content from the weak leftist mob. This week, we're taking a look at how the left has really amped up the rainbow washing of the nation this June. For starters, the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, won a Guinness World Record for hosting the largest drag queen story hour ever.
You had 263. Give them all a big round of applause.
That's not all that went down in Philly this past weekend. None other than pro-Palestine protesters visited a Philly Pride parade. It's pretty funny that these protesters are standing with their gay and Palestine flags, when the truth is, if you were gay in Palestine, rest in peace. Other pride parades erupted throughout the nation. At some, FBI agents joined in. And at another, furries joined in. I don't really think I'd be proud of my son for pretending he's a giant stuffed animal, but then again, parenting isn't the left's strong suit. I mean, look at these kids whose parents seem to have no issue with them marching around for Pride Month. Yeah, that isn't helping kids at all. Just like this isn't either.
I won't change your little town. Your own children will. Your children will see us. Your children will love us. And your children will join us.
Your children will love us? Your children will join us? That's not pride. It's recruitment. Recruitment into the leftist illusion that thinks this is normal. And delusion that thinks it's completely normal to have an entire family of queer people.
We had a happy first Pride, didn't we, boys? Not first Pride. First Pride is me as trans, but they had a happy Pride, right? Yeah? They're tired. Very happy Pride.
Yes, happy Pride.
What a great example of people with mental disorders making other people feel sick too, so they can feel affirmed. Y'all, we're only a week into this nonsense and it's already more intense than I imagined. Start praying hard for these lost souls and against our country's allegiance to the pride flag. While all the clips I showed today seem like they're crowning achievements of a dystopian universe, they're unfortunately what we're dealing with in modern day America. While the media and the left are going to tell you that all that is normal, I'm here to slap you in the face, get you out of their hypnotic brainwashing, and let you know that that behavior is the furthest thing from normal.
They're not aliens. They've always been here. There are forces that are not human, that do exist in a spiritual realm of some kind that we cannot see, and that when you think about it, sort of make you think we live in an ant farm. That is real, okay?
It would be nice, actually, if any of them that speak about this in a mild way, acknowledge the guy who's been saying this since 1996 and taken untold shit and abuse and ridicule for saying it. But the thing that struck me most about the interview is that Carlson is saying, I kind of got what's going on and I don't want to know anymore.
And I've actually stopped gathering string on, as we say in reporting, stopped gathering string in this, gathering information, because I'm satisfied that I know enough and I don't really want to know that much more.
Excuse me, you're a bloody journalist. You're supposed to be now an alternative journalist. Of course you want to know. I don't see how an alternative mind that Tucker Carlson is claimed to have would not want to know more and more and more detail about what is this non-human force that is manipulating human society. What's the first thing, if you were a proper journalist and you came across this information, what's the first thing you'd do? You'd look at who's been saying this, in my case, since the 1990s, and you'd say, hey, you come on my show with its massive audience. Tell us what you found. What's your view of what's going on? That's what you do. But it doesn't happen, as it doesn't happen with Rogan either. There has to be a reason for that. One of the things that I've been pointing out over the decades is how, if you look at religions and if you look at ancient cultures and tribal legends and accounts, there is an absolute common theme between them.
Yep.
And that is that a non-human force operating from the hidden is manipulating human society. It's a very compelling, coordinated agreement between what is otherwise a disparate group of different groups and beliefs. Carlson, in this interview, is acknowledging that.
This is my brain.
I need to unmute myself. Come back in. Oh, why do I only have one QR code? How did that happen?
How did that happen?
Oh, there's the other one. Coming back in. Let's make sure we take the break crawl off the screen. I removed the Sunday crawl off the bottom so we could read those subtitles. That was an interesting piece on
noise.
Yeah, David Icke.
David Icke. I like him. I like David
So-
Icke, but he's not a perfect person like anybody.
Yeah, of course. Like, whatever. So I figured I'd throw that in. So, of course, to support the show and all the Heartland Fellowship Media Group productions that are going to be coming up, you can donate to one-time donation with the PayPal, or if you want to support us on a regular basis, you can set up a regular dollar amount, so 15, 50, whatever,
It
on a
costs a little
monthly
bit of
basis.
cash to bring you guys this beautiful
It
content.
does take a little bit of chips.
A little bit of chits.
Yes, little chits.
Yeah.
For schnizzle.
For schnizzle.
So we'll definitely need that donation. And then
Look at all that
any
stuff
free
on there.
food like cookies and shit you want
Yeah.
to bring.
What do we got
speaking
here?
of
What do we got?
cookies-
What do you got?
So we
Which
have
one's the
some
chocolate
French,
chip?
French macarons here today. I don't
In
know.
honor of the French defeating their.
In honor of the French uprising against their socialist masters, we have some
Nice.
French macarons baked by my girlfriend. Check out Lakeshore Confections on Facebook.
Okay.
Lakeshore Confections, bakery out of Muskegon that creates these fine macarons. You can order them online. You have to pick them up, though, so you have to drive. But they're worth it. They're worth it because they're delicious. So I know we have vanilla, cinnamon toast crunch, raspberry, chocolate chip, and I want to say this one's Fruity Pebbles.
Lakeshore Confections LLC.
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah, they have like a.
So these are the macarons that we're going
Those
to do.
are the macarons, not to be confused with macaroons. Macaroons are like a kind of a harder coconut-based cookie. They're okay, but these are the real. If you want a macaron, not a macaroon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're kind of a fluffy.
There's some
the top
pinky ones. Oh, look at these ones got all the.
You can get them custom printed.
Skittles.
Yeah, nice.
So yeah, we have a lot of different flavors.
Okay.
So, which one would you like to try, Jeremy?
You know what? Do you know the flavors at all?
Vanilla, cinnamon toast crunch, raspberry, chocolate chip, Fruity Pebbles.
Holy shit! I'm gonna do the. You said this was the cinnamon.
I believe that's the cinnamon toast crunch.
Cinnamon
I'm gonna go
toast
with
crunch.
raspberry.
You're gonna go with the raspberry. All right.
I had the chocolate chip earlier today. It was good.
That would be my second.
Yeah, I had two
probably
earlier.
my
and
first
I was
choice.
pleasantly
they're nice and
pleased with
squishy.
their chewiness.
And I can see the cinnamon toast crunch because it was in the bag like this. Now I flip it over. It's got the.
Their
Oh
chewiness. was,
man,
surprise!
that's tasty.
Pretty good, aren't they?
Feels like when you pick it up, it feels like it's going to be
like a marshmallow.
It's going to have some crunch. No, it felt like the shell felt like it was going to have some crunch to it.
I pinched it and I felt it was squished.
I felt the middle squish, but I thought that the shell would be a little bit more crusty.
No,
these are phenomenal.
No, it's not like a hard cookie. Or it's not an Oreo cookie.
And that is definitely a cinnamon toast crunch. Those are phenomenal.
Did you have a cinnamon? Okay.
I had a cinnamon toast.
Good stuff.
The chocolate chips here. What's the other one? This one?
Vanilla and Fruity Pebbles.
Fruity Pebbles. It's interesting because the Fruity Pebbles is the blue one.
Or no, that's the vanilla.
No, I'm saying that's what I meant to say.
Oh, yeah.
The blue one with all those speckles on the top is the vanilla, which vanilla is typically, when you say it's vanilla, it's like it's bland,
White.
it's vanilla, it's just white. And the slightly off white one is the Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah.
I'm thinking might be a color change then. But
Well,
these are great.
sometimes it depends. Like the shells basically taste the same. It's just what you put in the middle of them,
right?
And kind of just So yeah, so it depends.
Phenomenal.
Sometimes it depends on what shells are around. and what they
Phenomenal.
look like.
So can they get these online?
Yep, you just got to be. Particularly if you're on the west side, you can go and pick them up. You can buy them online and go pick them up.
You got to pick them up in person, no matter what.
You do. Yes.
In Muskegon. Okay. So there you go. Lakeshore Confections LLC. Check those out. It's lakeshoreconfections.com /shop, or just hit the .com and I'm sure you'll get there. So those were awesome. Thanks, Shane, for bringing those.
What are those skulls?
Those are the custom print sugar cookies. So she can print anything you want.
Probably need some of those for the podcast, don't we?
I wonder if
yes.
So can you make brains?
This is my brain cookies,
dude. Can we make like a actual brain versus the skull?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, we make it like the pink brain.
You can put your logo on them.
Hell yeah, dude.
Let's do it.
Let's do a big fundraiser for the show, and we'll do that. We'll have those here.
Sounds good to me.
All right, let's get back into this. Swamping the vote. Where do you want to start? You want to start here?
Yeah. So the idea behind the Swamp the Vote is getting people to sign up for absentee votes, which is a great idea for many reasons. But my problem with Swamp the Vote is the name of it. What do you think if you hear Swamp the Vote? What's your first, as a Trump supporter?
As a Trump supporter who said, I'm going to drain the swamp, now all of a sudden we're going to use the swamp taxes?
Now we're the swamp?
Yeah.
It immediately invokes the swamp. Like, oh, now we're the swamp and we're part of the swamp?
Yeah.
And,
doesn't fit.
And you put it with the vote, it automatically, any Trump person is going to immediately think this is nefarious. And Trump supporters are already...
You're going to be wary.
Yeah, and all Trump supporters are already, thinking that, having problems with absentee votes because of what happened in 2020, when all the votes showed up at 3 a.m. and the spike happened. So now they're going to immediately think, I don't want to be a part of this swamp. We're doing swamp voting now.
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
I responded to a number of people on X, and I said, just in 2. But I did the hashtag hoping it would start it. And then I realized after I sent it, I'm like, this could be taken both ways. But it was hashtag orange jumpsuit man. Right?
Yes.
Because orange man bad. But that's become our mantra to say, no, orange man's awesome. But you're going to say orange man bad. That's your thing. And I said orange jumpsuit man. And then I said is a badass. But my hashtag was orange jumpsuit man.
These people are crazy.
And then I realized after I sent it, I'm like, you could take it both ways.
Yeah, this could be
bad. Could be both ways.
Yeah.
I could be endorsing the criminal. And I was like, no, I was responding. I sent one to Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I sent the other one to one of the other big.
Yep. I've done speeches about the practical value of signing up people to be absentee voters.
Right.
That people, because when you sign up for every time absentee, if there is an election in February, election in May, you will get that ballot a few weeks before the election, and then you'll think, oh, the election is coming, and you'll be more likely to vote. The Democrats have all their people signed up, so they get their ballots in the mail, and then they show up at your door, make sure you vote, walk you through it, hold your hand, and do everything that they can to ensure that you vote. They almost make it harder for you not to vote than to vote.
Correct.
And our people are basically like, show up on election day, or you're a pussy.
Well, and they hit the old folks home where they're barely coherent, walk the ballots into them, the absentee ballots into them, and tell them how to sign it, tell them what to do, tell them all that stuff. Yeah. No, I sat with my mother-in-law at breakfast this morning, and she was asking me about a couple different people in our local races. And she said, because our absentee ballot's going to be here, for the August vote pretty soon. And I said,
in like a couple weeks.
Yeah. And I said, no, when it gets here, I'll help you and my wife, because my wife and my mother-in-law both do theirs. Tim and I and Vince, Vince used to be on the show on a regular basis, plus Grandma, we all go vote in person, but they're more comfortable filling it out and sending it in. So there are a number of people that.
And also, and this is what you explain to people, is if you have an absentee ballot and you fill it out and you go hand it in during early voting, which is 9 days before election, you can go in and physically hand it in.
Yeah.
Or you go into the clerk's office, your township clerk, your city clerk, and you hand that ballot in. There's a minimal, very infinitesimal chance that it could be defrauded. Now, if you use mail-ins, if you use the ballot drop boxes, now it becomes
there's
much
a tracking
more
situation. There's a tracking system.
Yeah, the chain of custody breaks down, and there's much more of a propensity for fraud. But if you hand in your absentee, if you walk it in, then it is safe. And that's what we have to impart on people.
Right.
But Swamp the Vote is just the worst possible branding.
It's horrible, dude.
It's
horrible.
Mind-blowingly bad. And
who advised him on this shit?
The same people who are advising his endorsements, I would presume.
Wow.
So now we're gonna have the state party. We're gonna have all these different people, all these different operatives, many of whom are doing a good job.
Why'd you put that up?
Oh, sorry.
I'm still on that. Sorry.
Sorry.
Many of whom are out trying to do good work.
I forget that I didn't look at the confidence screen.
That's fine.
What I wanted to do, the reason I did that was, what I want to do is, everybody in chat out there, we got a number of people watching. I want you guys to chime in. chime in the chat and just give me a
flood the vote should have been better.
Yeah,
flood the vote would have
Flood
exactly. Flood the vote
I
immediately.
think he was tying it to the swamp. We can see a little bit of reasoning in it,
but it
sucks
so bad.
But I want to know from everybody watching tonight. Chime in on the live chat and let us know. Do you think it's good or bad? What just say? We
Give
know
it a coffee 1 out of 5.
Yeah, the coffee 1 out of 5, or just say good or bad. We know exactly what we're talking about. Is the swamp the vote slogan good or bad? Everybody chime in chat, good or bad, and we'll check it here in a little bit.
And hit
see
the
what it
rumble
says.
fist while you're doing it.
Hit the rumble fist while you're in there, because I don't see a lot of rumble fist, but I see a lot of people watching.
The thing that's connected to Swamp the Vote is called Trump Force 47, and the idea behind that is making Trump supporters into people who are going and canvassing their communities,
which is good,
and reaching out to voters,
yeah,
and saying, hey, you need to vote absentee, you need to get on the absentee voter list, you need to make sure that you vote,
right?
Let me help you vote. This is important, because there are tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of low propensity Republican voters,
right,
who maybe didn't show up in 2022, maybe didn't show up in 2020, but if they did show up, they're going to vote Republican.
So is this,
and we need to get, and the idea of, as Republicans hand-holding people to go vote is kind of something that goes against our inherent nature.
Because we're not Democrats trying to manipulate the system.
It feels like a busybody type thing, but we have to do it or we're going to lose, and
because
we deserve to lose.
Don't they calculate they look at the voter rolls and they see the people that haven't voted in the last 20 years on a Republican side, registered Republican that hasn't voted in the last 20 years. Well, it's a safe bet that they can take that vote and flip it for the Democrat.
Yeah, they have all the data.
They got the
know
algorithms.
How to manipulate it.
Yeah.
And they have an operation that is light years ahead of us. And now we're trying to bridge the gap. And there are a lot of good people in the state who are doing that work.
Yeah.
I'll go around and talk to Republicans and try to explain to them why they should do it as well. But now you have this branding that is terrible, that's going to be abjectly hated by the vast majority of Trump supporters. It's going to sound like something that Democrats are trying to do, or something you're describing something that the Democrats are trying to do.
Yeah.
And you've already shot yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
Going in. And that's what I'm seeing, is that you see the European parliamentary elections going so well. The momentum is on our side. You see the polls going in the right direction here in almost every poll you see for Trump. But you're seeing the campaign shoot itself in the foot over and over again, going in the wrong direction, snatching, defeat from the jaws of victory.
Right.
And that's where we're headed right now.
Michiganders should know how that pain feels watching the Lions for the last 35 years, 40 years.
Watching
what it means to have victory
Watching
there.
them in the NFC Championship
and
game.
all you had to do was kick 2 field goals instead of going for the extra points, and we would have been in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And kicked Mahomes' ass a second time. I know Mr. Coffee's chiming in, and he says a 3.5, not all that bad. He's thinking it's not all that bad. And so we want to get, as a political strategist and a pontificator, we want to see what the general audience thinks of that dynamic. But for you
Not
and I,
bad.
we're cringe. Well, that's just coffee.
I mean, I've seen,
and he doesn't drink anymore, so I'm
from-
not sure that he's stable in his.
From what I've seen in, just from average Republicans reacting to it in, hardcore Republicans reacting to it on social media, they hate it. They think it's terrible. And
so good straw poll there.
And people and just bewilderment as to
Why
the hell would you frame it in this way?
Yeah.
It's the worst possible
It's
framing.
horrible. It's horrible.
So,
So a few more people need to chime in on that. Let me know in the chat. There's a number of you people watching. You people. Here's the other thing from the New York Post. Did you want to read some of this copy, or we're just looking at it?
kind of describe.
Trump team embraces early voting and mail-in ballots in Swamp the Vote initiative.
Yeah, let's go down and see what the
let's
quotes
see.
are there.
Former President Donald Trump officially embraces early voting. I'm doing that voice because it's not only is it the New York Post, but it's also Donald Trump. Mail-in ballots, absentee voting. Tuesday reversed in the course of his prior criticism and questioning the legitimacy of these methods. The non-traditional voting methods are encompassing in the Swamp the Vote USA initiative and are promoting Trump Force 47, which you said, and the grassroots organizing program sponsored by the Republican National Committee. Quote, Republicans must win, and we will use every appropriate tool to beat the Democrats because they are destroying our country. Whether you vote absentee, by mail, early in person or on election day. We are going to protect the vote. We will make sure that your ballot is secure and your vote is heard, Trump said in his statement. So that's good. I agree with the sentiment. I disagree with the slogan, like you.
Yeah, the tactics are good, but it's the absolute worst slogan. I think the next quote's going to have
and then once he gets in, that's when we go back to single day paper ballots.
Yeah, we can change the laws, go back to, you can get an absentee if you're elderly, you're infirm for certain reasons, military, but not
we know
demand.
throughout the country, the absentee and mail-in ballots were sent out in mass. Go back to a request.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be able to do there. I'm requesting a ballot. Okay, there's an initiative where you have requested a ballot. Great. Now you can do your absentee or mail-in ballot because you requested it. That's an active voter. That's an engaged voter. But just sending them out, people were getting 5 and 10 different absentee ballots from people that previously lived at their address. One lady, I watched multiple stories where they got them for their cats or their dogs because they were registered somewhere with the last name of the owners. And so Spot McCaffrey's getting a fucking mail-in ballot. Ridiculous.
So look, read this next statement, but just switch out, like he said, flood the vote. Switch out swamp with flood.
Okay.
And when you read this.
We must flood the radical Democrats with massive turnout. The way to win is to flood them. We will flood them with votes that they can't cheat. You need to make a plan, register, and vote any way possible. We've got to get your vote, the former president added.
So
I love flood.
Perfect.
Flood would be perfect.
Amazing.
It would be perfect. And then you flood. What do you do to a swamp? You flood it.
You flood it.
Or
you wash it out.
Whatever.
You flood it and wash it out.
It makes sense. But now it's swamp. Oh, we're gonna talk about how we're the swamp. We're gonna be swamping. We're using swamp tactics. It's and people are going to hate it.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to the Clay Clark thing this over the weekend for a day. You're familiar with Clay Clark, right?
Oh yeah, phenomenal guy.
Yeah, so he came to Sterling Heights.
Okay.
Just a couple of days ago, and had a big conference. Everyone and their mother was speaking.
Oh yeah,
there.
it was huge.
Yeah, it was ridiculous how huge it was.
What's this thing that the name of the organization?
I saw
the conferences are the.
I can't think of it, but
I've had multiple. I've been so busy I couldn't even have attended. But it's
Renewing America.
Yeah,
renewal.
it's Freedom America.
It was like the Great Reawakening versus the Great Reset.
Reawakening.
The Reawakening tour.
Yeah,
and I love them because they go, you know what? Whatever you got, you can get a ticket. If you can afford $5, if you can afford $100, whatever you can afford, you got a ticket. You can't afford a ticket. Send us a note. We'll get you into the thing. And I love that about them because their conferences are always making money because they put it on that level. Yep. Phenomenal.
And they have, Mike Flynn. They have Mike Lindell. I don't think Lindell was there this time, but it's Flynn, it's Lindell, it's all those sort of people. And
they had a 17-year-old girl that just fucking blew my mind. She's got a podcast. I'm going to become a fan of hers, and I have to remember her name. I think it's like Haley or something like that. But
Nikki Haley?
No. She's got her own show, and she's one of the most articulate. I was watching it for most of the 2 days.
We got a lot of kids that are very hindered in their forward motion, but we've got some very
astute, very sharp,
just phenomenal young conservatives that are stepping up. And
that have probably been homeschooled,
dude. Yeah, you'll get this 11-year-old that stands up at the school board and goes, "You're not doing me right," and just you're like, "Holy shit, this is a 30-year-old speech."
Yeah, the announcer was the PA guy. He was when they were here at the Michigan location.
Mm-hmm.
He was hilarious, and he brought his wife up and gave this young gal accolades. And he says, well, she might be 8, she might be 80. She's the most articulate young lady I've ever heard.
That's what you need.
She's somewhere between 8 and 80, she's amazing. And I almost captured some of her stuff and put it in your break.
Coffee says, let's see. Charlotte Cosmic, 1 day voting, paper ballots, same night results, smaller districts, swamp the vote,
right?
A scheme. We need to know public functionaries. All right. Then Coffee says, I get that. I like flood better. That's Mr. Coffee says he likes flood better. He said that would be 4.7 on my 1.5.
Yeah.
And then Coffee says, how about fucking flood the swamp, MFers?
Flood the swamp.
Flood
That would
the
be
swamp.
better too.
Flood the swamp.
Flood the swamp.
Yeah.
What's that? I want to flood the swamp. What's
How long
that
has the
about?
campaign been going?
Like a week.
Dude, they could change it right
They
now.
could, but are they gonna?
No, ego.
No, it's gonna be like, oh, we're gonna triple down on this. We're gonna quadruple down.
One thing you have to remember is Michigan is one of, I think, only, I don't know, something like 18 states or maybe or so that register voters with driver's license and IDs. Not all the states do that.
Right.
In fact, the registered voter percentage of states that do not do automatic voter registration is like 60% or lower, if that. I mean, the actual, I mean, there's some states that have 24% registered voters.
I thought it was when we started talking about registered, when I really started getting into it in the last, 6 years, 8 years. And I started hearing this and they're like, we got to get people registered. We got to get people registered. I'm like, I'm from Michigan.
You didn't understand. Yeah.
You go get your license and you're automatically, they go, and here's your registration
That's
card.
rare.
Yeah. And I didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting that a lot of people aren't registered.
Yeah,
But the
so
ones that are registered that didn't vote for Trump all voted for Biden. Whether they voted down ballot or not, every single one of them, even the dead ones, voted for Biden.
Yeah, you don't say. But the principles behind swamp the vote are especially important in Michigan because of the way the lax voting laws are here.
And we were one of the states most locked down.
Yep, and we need to up those numbers in every county, especially in red counties. We need to up those numbers to get people on board. But
Absolutely.
but if you go into a rural area and you're wearing a Swamp the Vote T-shirt and you knock on someone's door,
they're gonna be like,
who the hell are you?
What the hell are you doing?
I hate the swamp. Fuck you. Shut the door in your face.
Exactly. I don't think it's a good slogan.
It's
even Mr. Coffee has backtracked on his earlier assumption, saying that he liked it, but at the same time now he's backed off and said this. Look at this.
Now, by popular vote, which of course is not the way this election works, but we know this. States that have here's the most voters per capita, obviously, with California at 18 million, but they're only 59.3% registered. Texas at 13.3 million.
That's out of eligibles.
That's 62% voted. Florida at 10.5 million. Yeah. But that's only 60% registered. New York State at 9.3 million at 62%. Michigan at 5.5 million, but 70.8% registered. Illinois is 6.6 million, but only just lower.
What'd you say was Michigan? 70 what?
70.8.
70.8, and you're automatically registered when you go to driver's license. So that means there's 25% of our population that could drive and vote that don't.
Right. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Ohio at 6.7 million, so more than us, is 5% more registered than us at 75.2.
Wow.
So there's but you go across flyover states or whatever, I'm trying to find the lowest one, and I don't have I'm seeing if there's anything that drops below 60. Anything that drops below 60%. I thought there was somebody that was lower than that, but no, I'm not seeing anything lower than 62.
62.
62. And that's New York, but they're so voluminous. They're the third largest voting block per state.
If you take out the blue cities, this country's all red.
That's true. Yeah.
The population centers.
Let's do this real quick, and then we'll continue with. You wanted to talk about? We were going to go to Lansing next.
We're going to Lansing. This is the hope.
This is the hope
for a better tomorrow.
But I want to point this out. This was sent to one of our regular co-hosts that drops in with us, Georgie. Georgie says, breaking exclusive: MTG predicts the deep state planning civil unrest and war to cancel the election. Do we need to come back to that topic, or do you want to discuss it before we get to the hope?
I mean,
Nevada,
knows?
Arkansas, and California. Sorry to interrupt, but is the lowest three at 60, 59, respectively. Arkansas and California, but California is so big, it's still 18 million.
Right.
I think MTG says things to get attention.
A little clickbait there.
Yeah, she wants attention.
But I've heard a lot of that they're going to try to preempt the election. Let's weigh in on that. Do you think
I don't see them being able to pull it off. I mean, the reason why they were able to do 9/11, get away with it, because not everyone had a cell phone
Correct.
with a camera at the time to film it from different angles.
Right.
I don't think they can do something to that effect. You know, they'll do like some October surprise, like fake Whitmer kidnapping type stuff.
Which we know is complete and utter bullshit.
To dominate the media headlines. They got a lot of tricks up their sleeve like that.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, I think that if it was going to be like another virus or something, it would
bird flu.
But I think the virus would have already been unleashed by now.
Do you realize 9/11?
You think they need the momentum?
They would have needed it to happen a few months ago.
Yeah.
Do you realize 9/11 was 23 years ago?
Yep. We've been living in a frightening dystopia for at least 23 years.
9/11 was
the
a middle-aged man's hot date lifetime ago.
Yeah.
I mean, a 23-year-old.
Yeah. Well, and
crazy.
And the thing is, the temporary initiative of the Patriot Act has been renewed continuously since then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike Rogers. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Because we need to protect us from terrorists.
Yeah.
But then if you get a call from somebody outside the country, we can put you on the list as being somebody that might have terrorist affiliations.
Yeah. The metadata states that you're a terrorist, so we're going to bomb your ass.
Exactly. What did the big the long-legged Mac Daddy say? I have two words for you: predator drones.
Yep.
That's what he said. He said it.
Yep. And you think I'm joking? I'm not.
I'll kill you.
I'll kill you. Take you out. That's what I do. Because I'm CIA trained. That's the way I am. All right, Shane. Let's go out with a bang on this. We're recognizing who is this lady? What's the scoop?
Okay, so
what do you want me to do? You want me to scroll down?
This is the leave it there for now.
Okay.
This is the hope, I think, for what conservatives should be doing right now. As I've stated on previous episodes, I'm the chairman of the Grand New Party PAC. We're focusing on different races, not necessarily just the general election, but also the primary elections.
You mean electoral, not skin color copy?
Of course, yeah, electoral races, not races. Thank you for that. Thanks for saying,
Mr. I'm glad we need to clarify that.
Trejo, who's been lambasted by certain people for being specific. Yeah,
that's a good producer looking out for me.
I appreciate that.
So we've been looking at different electoral races, getting involved in the primaries to make sure that good candidates are promoted. Like in Livingston County area, making sure that in that race, if it's an open race, Hillsdale open race, we want a good, strong, proven rep to win in those races.
Absolutely.
But then also in primary races where different incumbent Republicans have betrayed the trust of the public.
Okay.
And no Republican has betrayed the trust of the public worse than Representative Gina Johnsen in the 78th district. So
you're exposing the truth.
Yes, the Grand New Party PAC has released a website called The Real Gina, and it's you go actually her name, Gina Johnsen.
How did you guys get that?
It was available.
She didn't have that locked up?
No.
And you guys picked up that one.
GinaJohnsen.com.
Wow. So when people go to look her up,
in perpetuity.
Would she have the .org or the
No, it's like she has like vote for Gina or whatever.com.
Dumb.
Yeah,
you snatched it up, dude.
Not being advised too well, apparently.
All right, break this down for us. Tell us what she's a Lansing swamp creature.
So she's a swamp creature. What she did, she has a handful of bad votes. So this isn't the only one, but this is by far the worst one. She voted in favor of the $82 billion budget last year. That was the largest in the history of the state of Michigan.
To bankrupt
us and yada, yada, yada. So go down, you can look at what's in this thing.
Okay.
So $218,000 salary for a DEI coordinator, $2.9 million affirmative action giveaway to a minority farmers fund,
Which is bullshit. We don't have that many black farmers in the state of Michigan, and if they are, they're facing the same thing that every other farmer, black, white, red, Latino, doesn't matter. They're facing the same.
It'll be a Democrat affiliated scamster who goes in their back pocket.
Yeah,
thanks to Gina.
And what are they going to produce? A bunch of vegan food that will kill you eventually because there's too much estrogen in it. It's not going to work. Go ahead.
And then allows Democrats to implement COVID passports, $80 million in climate change mandates that will lead to a new Green New Deal.
Yeah.
$10 million worth of minority-only grants for minority-only small business owners, and then $2 million for immigrant and refugee center that will be allowed to bring in more illegal aliens and dangerous migrants to create, hasten the invasion in the state of Michigan, and then $5.1 million to study a weapons ban, which means one step closer to banning weapons.
We need
across the state of Michigan.
$5.1 million to study a weapons ban in the state of Michigan.
According to Gina Johnsen, we do.
$5.1 million. You know what? Give me $10, and I'll tell you we don't need to ban weapons in the state of Michigan, where we have a huge population of hunters and an even bigger population across the board of Republicans and Democrats who understand the necessity of self-defense. What was the statistic? We talked about it with you. We talked about it with Dan Willihan on the show before when they were passing the red flag laws, but we talked about it with you too. Isn't Detroit one of the highest concealed carry that they apply for concealed carries?
Of course.
Why do you think that is?
Because Democrat run.
You live in Detroit.
Yeah.
Might need to defend yourself, and you want to be able to be on the right side of that thing when all the gun smoke clears out. Fucking ridiculous. So this lady
she voted in favor of the $82 billion.
Yeah.
And now, she's like, she'll tell, just call her up and she'll tell you all this hot air about why she did it. Oh, well, I got some promises of money that they gave to our district. So quid pro quo. Who are some of
the other people that we absolutely love that we've hung out with that are full-blown America First representatives in the state of Michigan that said, fuck you, and didn't vote for it?
Well, it was only 5 Republicans who voted for it. So it wasn't just the good guys who didn't vote for it.
Only 5, and she was one of the 5.
And she was one of them. So,
yeah.
But all the good guys, of course, didn't vote for it. A lot of the decent people, most of the decent people didn't vote for it. Even some of the rhinos didn't vote for it, but Gina did.
Like some of our friends like Angela Regas.
Regas did not vote for it. Steve Carra did not vote for it.
Who's the gal that you had on with me? She lost her daughter and adopted her 3 boys.
Jamie Thompson did not vote for it.
Yeah.
So all these people didn't vote for it, but she did. And her excuse was, well, it was going to pass anyway. Well, if it was going to pass anyway, and
then take the moral high ground and vote against it.
And so they funded whatever she wanted to be funded, her wastewater plants in her district.
Mm-hmm.
It was funded. It would have passed anyway. Then why vote for it?
Vote against it, and you still get it,
and you'll still get it. But because she made all those deals behind the scenes with Democrats and rhinos and whoever, she felt compelled to vote for this atrocity.
Isn't that why
it does matter, because now when they go on, when Whitmer goes on TV and says this stuff,
she'll tout the 5. It's bipartisan.
It's bipartisan. Yeah. Republicans are on board. We work together. Blah blah blah. You're helping her sell this. You're helping her normalize this. And Gina was, and the other 4 people besides Gina, all bad reps, rhinos, blah blah blah. But everyone knows those 4 were moderates. Everyone knows those 4 were weak.
They're already identified.
But
she
Gina
exposed
Johnsen
herself.
Was someone who got elected as, I'm the strongest conservative. I'm a Christian conservative.
What's the rest of her record?
Let's go to the Capitol. We'll pray together about how to save this country.
Mm-hmm.
And then she gets in there and she double deals and stabs people in the back. And that's what makes her the worst rhino in the legislature. And that's what makes her the #1 target of the Grand New Party PAC.
Fuck yeah. So I'm not a big rhino hunter type of person, but yes.
But
I am absolutely for.
There she is with Whitmer, Benson, and Nessel praying in front of a pile of money.
And so I'm absolutely for calling out the record of these people.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the record. That's what you have on board. This is not just hyperbole. This is not just attack for attack's sake. This is your record. You voted for this. What in this bill did you get? You got some budgeting thing for your county, right?
Yeah.
How does that compare in the rest of this grand scheme of this budget? It's $82 billion that is going to bankrupt our state. How does that compare? How does that work?
It doesn't work, and I mean that is not what her voters elected her to to
do. Ship for election.
Her, and again, this is why it's also such a great race to play in. Is that she is her district is super dark red.
Okay.
It's 80% Republican. It's like,
Do we know who's running against her right now?
Berry County, Ionia, part of Kent.
Oh, shit.
So it's really deep red. John Rocha, military veteran who had been endorsed by Trump in the past.
Oh, we know John.
John's a great guy.
John's
He's running
awesome.
against her right now.
Oh, is he?
And it's a one-on-one
primary.
You
need to set that up. I need John on here.
We will get John on here in no time, for sure. So
I like John.
John's a great guy, and he's running against Gina. And this is a great opportunity because if Gina goes down, then it will send shockwaves through the rest of Lansing that, if I vote in favor of this garbage next time, I might be the next one to go.
Right.
So you have to send that message, and this is the best example, the best opportunity to do it.
Again, your reasoning. Her statement, her reasoning is, it was going to pass anyways. Then vote against it. Get what you wanted, but you made a deal behind the doors, and that's unacceptable.
And look, I could respect. Okay, you make the deal behind the doors, then you're go last minute and say, "Screw you guys, I'm voting no."
Yeah, because what are they going to do? Come out and go, oh, they made a deal behind the doors. Who's going to believe you?
Exactly. So I would respect that more than going through with it and stabbing your constituents in the back and then going and saying, oh, well, it really didn't matter to people.
First of all, you should have made the deal behind closed doors. You should have went to your community and said, call all these other people, call all of your other politicians and let them know that they're trying to suppress this because I won't support this bloated fucking budget. But you could mobilize your people. Especially in a deep red area like that.
Exactly.
You could have mobilized your people to do a huge campaign and say, all right, my representative wouldn't make a backdoor deal and you're suppressing something we need in our budget for our community.
Yeah, exactly. And you can blow that up. You can blow the corruption, up in the community. But she went along with the corruption, and that's why she has to go. One thing that the Grand New Party PAC's going to be unveiling tomorrow morning is called the Rhino Removal Regiment. So we're going to get
Rhino Removal Regiment.
Sounds good, doesn't it?
I like it.
So we're going to
Triple R.
Triple R, yes.
That's a Triple R ranch.
So we're going to get as many people as possible on this campaign to remove Gina. I know that in Livingston County, you guys got your own very contentious, ridiculous race here for state rep. So this is more geared toward people, mid-Michigan, west side of Michigan.
Yeah.
But, get involved. This is an opportunity we have to make a difference. There's so much bad stuff going on and so much stuff that's out of our control. This is something that we can control. We can send a strong message to Lansing that we are not going to take this BS anymore. That if you are a rhino, if you betray the public, if you go along with the Democrats, if you spend $82 billion on all this far left stuff and you're a Republican, you're gone. And Gina Johnsen will just be the beginning.
I'd like to chime in.
Go ahead.
As you've been talking, I've been looking at this other website here, the website that has the registered voters, the percentage of voters. This is actually wisevoter.com. It has this multi-column readout. You're talking about getting involved. It just blew my mind. Michigan, this has columns of number of voters per capita, registered voters, then percentage of that registered that actually turns out. And it shocked me to see that. Well, actually, I was quite proud. My birth state actually ranked pretty high with Minnesota, but it shocked me to see that when I categorized this by percentage of voters, Michigan in percentage of voters ranks 20th percentage. So even though there's a automatic registration with identification in this state, it means that the percentage of registered voter is still 20th out of the states in registration, which means there is huge room for improvement at 70.8%. We could strive to much higher to get out there and say, get involved. People, are you registered? Why aren't you registered?
Yes.
What's going on there? And then 64.1% of that registered voter turns out. 64, which is 21st in the ranking of the states and of voter turnout. So as one of the swing states, usually all the time, Michigan, there is a lot.
We got to get more people out
to
there.
be done in that. It just blew my. While you're talking this whole time, I'm just studying. Where's Michigan? How is this? Why is that? I don't understand this.
Yeah.
And a lot of these red counties, they have 60% voter turnout, 70% voter turnout. I guess we're done.
No. What happens is when
freaking Pride Month, everyone.
Happy Pride Month, everyone.
Every year when June rolls
what happens
around,
is
I
when
say
I
a few extra prayers
shut
for
up.
our nation who thinks that celebrating Pride includes
Why is that
twerking
not
in front of
stopping?
little kids, stripping down to the nude, and marching around
This
in
is from-
rainbow
this is
gear.
what- this
This
is
was
what-
the
Each year,
break.
Pride Month
This is the break.
seems to
Why
get
does this not
more
stop?
and more
Stop.
disturbing, and
That's
2024
what Tim
is
watches
no
when no one else
exception.
is around.
I'm Tyrion Rose with
when he has
Emerson
How about
Media
the-
and Culture.
when he has the lotion
I got
on
it.
his table.
I
still see the
stop
still
it.
see the audio though.
No.
I just muted the tower.
Well, I need to know that it stopped, so unmute it. See, so now I have to double click it.
Okay.
Now, what happens is when I leave the scene and then come back,
Yeah.
those layers are active and
Yeah.
they reactivate, of course.
Continue what you were saying.
All right.
Oh, okay. So a lot of these super red counties have
Right.
50, 60, 70% of voter turnout. So if you just up the voter turnout by 10, 15% in all
You
those
overwhelm
counties,
any fraud.
you will be able to get over 100 to 200,000 more voters for Republicans,
Sure.
and then you win the election. So that's
We got to get people to show up.
Yep, and we got to hold their hands. We got to canvass them, not to think
You know-
we're going to change their minds. No,
No.
we're going to turn out our people.
Right.
That's what it's all about.
And
Not
I
as
have a
much
hard-
changing minds, turning out our
Yeah,
people.
and I have a hard time with these hardliners on, paper voting same day all at one time. People's schedules don't. That's not reality.
Well,
people.
it should be a
Just
national
not
holiday.
reality.
It should be a national holiday.
Well,
It should be
sure.
It should be a. I'm fully for
Sure.
1 day paper ballot and a national holiday.
I understand that, but people still need to put gas in their car on that day.
I
They still
understand
need
that.
to pick up dinner. They still need to have people working at the grocery store. So
Agreed.
There's a
And
way.
so
There's
those-
a way you can rein in the system without going full hard line.
Right.
Because
9
if it's-
days
if
is
it's paper-
ridiculous.
If it's all paper votes, then there just might be fudging of the numbers. There's still ways for them to cheat with just
Correct.
paper ballots.
But if you have I'm requesting a mail-in because I do have to work on that day.
Sure.
Great. You requested a mail-in.
Yep.
You dropped it off on a day that you were able to drop it off.
Mhm.
It got stamped. It's received. Done.
Yep, 9 days of early voting now, so everyone should become a poll worker.
Right.
The RNC actually has a very good program recruiting poll workers.
Yep.
I'm going to try to work both in Commerce Township, where I'm from, and then maybe like a large absentee ballot center on election day.
Okay.
You can do multiple shifts, and every county has to have at least 9 days of early voting.
Mhm.
So the idea was before Republicans were getting shut out of the process because they would just want to disenfranchise us so that we couldn't
Correct.
observe the process. But now the process has been opened up. They just need bodies really bad. So now Republicans, they sign up and it's like, oh, hey, come on in and work because we need people who will work these jobs because now they're overtaxed because of Prop 2 requiring so much early voting and all these different things. So that's our chance to get in the door and become the people who aren't just watching the process from afar and then, something's wrong. We're throwing you out. We're putting up the cardboard boxes, that sort of thing that didn't work in 2020. But now
Exactly.
we're actually the people who are working the election.
Yeah.
And that puts us in a much better position to stop fraud.
To hold them accountable. Charlotte Cosmic's chiming in says that anyone rhino in the past that voted for the red flag and the LGBTQ or hate crime stuff should not be getting our vote as well. Are you
Indeed.
cataloging some of those on the Grand New Party website?
Well, I would go to rescuemichigan.com.
Okay.
RescueMichigan.com has Operation Watchdog, which catalogs all the votes of all the different reps.
Excellent.
So they're the ones who handle that sort of thing. RescueMichigan.com, great website. And I'm on their podcast a lot. too.
Charlotte is also calling out Pete Hoekstra for the 2 times that he voted for the Patriot Act along with Rogers.
That is true. That is
very
certainly
true.
true. And Pete Hoekstra also voted for NAFTA.
Oh,
Yeah.
right. The big sucking sound. You're going to hear a large sucking sound of jobs heading down south. And that's just, if you let me get a word in edgewise, I'll tell you that's what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Okay. No, that cookies are gone. Just saying. There are 3 cookies, and as Morpheus says in
I'm gonna have
the
at least
Matrix,
one more of those bastards.
Well, what I'm saying is, as Morpheus says in the Matrix, when I see 3 cookies and 3 men here at the podcast, I see providence.
Oh, there's Rescue
there it is,
Michigan.
Rescue Michigan.
Yeah,
Thank
great
you.
website. My buddy Adam D'Angeli, who I got to bring here one of these days.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
he came here for karaoke. He was here for karaoke.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he was here. So
well, let's get him to sit down in front of the camera.
Yeah, he needs to come on here because
we got to line up
also
a whole bunch of people.
one of the smartest guys I've met in politics.
Yeah. Yeah, becoming a precinct delegate, that's on their website as well. We had some signups, but we're past the date now, right?
No, but if you're
what's the date?
Most people can still sign up as write-ins.
Oh.
So now we're recruiting write-in candidates.
Okay.
So the vast majority of precincts have openings still. So if you want to sign up as a write-in, you just vote for yourself, you're in.
Okay.
So I believe you can sign up as a write-in for at least another month and a half.
So the way that would work is if you don't have, say there's 7 delegates in your community and only 5 people are running, if you write yourself in, chances are you're going to win.
You fill out a form similar to like when you sign up to be a regular precinct delegate before the deadline's over. You fill out a form, you have a notary stamp it, you hand it in, and then boom, you're a write-in candidate. You vote for yourself. Maybe get a couple friends to write you in as well.
Yeah.
And boom, you're in. You're a precinct delegate.
Right, because if there only 6 people running, there's like 7 to 9 slots open, and you get 3 votes, you're in.
Exactly. So that's what we're recruiting now. So it's not too late to become a precinct delegate. Join the team.
Yeah.
I know that there's been a lot of turmoil, especially among the grassroots. Jeremy is well aware. He's been a part of some of that. But but it's all growing pains, I feel, toward a better party.
I was considering
so little by little, we're Tim Allen.
I was considering it, but I might be changing my physical address before the election.
That's what everyone said. I mean, just sign up, and if you do, you do. If you do, you do. You don't, you don't.
Change precincts.
Right.
But
well, we've got I think we had 9 out of 9 for 7 slots last time, or 10 for 7 slots.
Some precincts are super ridiculously competitive, while others haven't had anyone in them for generations. So it really is a crapshoot. But I would say over 80% of precincts have openings right now. So.
Coffee's yelling at me in the chat because he wants this blue one and just yelled at me to put that back. Look at this. He's like, put that back. No, I'm probably going to eat this chocolate chip one.
Chocolate chip one's good. I know Tim had one of those earlier.
Well, then he'll probably want the vanilla or the
Fruity Pebble.
The Fruity Pebble.
The Fruity Pebble is the most popular one. I'm not a big Fruity Pebbles fan, but the Fruity Pebble.
The other side, look, there's no demarcation.
Wait, let me see. There's a little bit. There should be a little bit like a fruit.
There's nothing.
Let me see.
I don't see anything on it.
Yeah, but you see, look close. There's fruitiness on that.
Is there fruity? I don't have my glasses.
On the filling.
There's fruitiness on it. You can see it.
Oh, there's like a light speckle. Okay, now I see it. I see it.
We didn't want to make it too fruity because that'd be like rainbow
gay
LGBT thing,
Yeah. Coffee's trying to get you to save the blue one. I don't know, Coffee. It's not going to happen, buddy. What's going on with the Grand New PAC other than pointing out clearly people that are not voting with their constituency, not voting voting along the lines of the people who elected them to vote for them?
Well, yep, we are working on different races, so we're going to announce more endorsements. We endorsed Adam Stockford in Hillsdale.
Okay.
Gave him $500. We'll be likely giving him more money in the future because he's a strong conservative out of Hillsdale. He's the Hillsdale mayor. He's the guy who came out and said mask mandates and COVID mandates would not be enforced in my city.
Nice.
So he's a very strong,
somebody there.
Very strong conservative there. So we're behind him 100%. We're coming out with more endorsements very shortly.
Okay.
We're also holding different fundraisers, different events. We have one on the west side of the state, retro movie night, where we're going to be showing old movies on a big screen. Having popcorn and ice cream and stuff. So
I know a place
maybe I'm about to say, like, once we do, that might be something we could duplicate here in the future. So we're doing fun events like that to engage people, to make a little money for candidates.
Okay.
And then we're also unveiling our grassroots precinct action plan program. So we're calling it the Precinct Action Center, where you can go and you can have a community of people who will answer your questions, tons of trainings, tons of manuals, everything that you would need to be an effective precinct delegate.
Right.
We were part of the coalition for the Delegates for Trump. So now we're taking those delegates, we're informing them, we're turning them into leaders who really understand the process and what's going on and can be those community activists who will, multiply in their communities. So we have a AI platform that we're going to be introducing that has kind of like a chat room, kind of like almost like Telegram or Signal, but less. We're not going to have a lot of the fighting or infighting there. It's going to be more controlled, where we can have lessons and information and newsletters to distribute there to make all centered around action, making precinct delegates as effective in action in their communities as humanly possible.
Right.
And then we also have kind of a learning center where we're going to have different modules that precinct delegates and activists can take on a bunch of different issues, like election integrity, to what is a precinct delegate, the importance of the Republican Party platform, nullification, citizen journalism. We already have about 10 of these developed. We're going to put those up immediately, and then we're just going to add to it. So it's just going to be volumes of information that people can learn.
Are
and
precinct delegates humans too?
What was that?
How are precinct delegates humans too?
Human? What?
Are precinct delegates also humans?
Are precinct delegates humans too?
Well, we want to hook them up to this AI. We want to hook them up to this AI so that they become greater than.
I see what it is.
Oh,
that's the idea.
How to
Get a chip in your brain.
Transhuman precinct delegates. Yes. But in all seriousness, though, I hope that's people are going to be like, "Oh, this is real agenda."
Oh no, that's going to be the quote tomorrow. Like
Trejo
endorses transhumanity for precinct delegates.
We have the ability. We can build them.
We're building a Terminator delegate.
Yes,
a Terminator delegate that goes into every community, recruits everyone to Republicanism, and brings back the country to greatness.
Absolutely,
that's our plan.
That's your plan. You guys are busy. You're doing a lot of stuff.
It's a lot of stuff. A lot of like curveballs along the way, but I think we have a really good plan, and we're just trying to empower people so that you have a lot of different things that you're given on this platform, and then maybe this thing doesn't interest you, but the other thing is up your alley. So you can pursue what you're passionate about. And then someone else can do that other thing that you're not so passionate about, so that we can come together and as a cohesive movement and be effective and not be at each other's throats. We don't have to like each other. The founding fathers didn't like each other. I mean, they would shoot. They end up shooting at each other in
just a couple
cases.
Of them, I mean, there was only a couple of them that shot each other.
So they hate each other's guts. But it's like, okay, let's defeat the enemy first, and then we can go back. Then we can figure out hating each other from there. So let's focus on our enemies. Let's focus on the globalists. Let's focus on the internationalists, the elites, the rhinos. Let's get rid of them. And then by being as effective as possible from the local level up, let's affect our local communities. Let's affect local politics. Let's affect county politics, state politics, and then it will resonate upward from there. And we have to put up we have to put up good candidates who are credible. We have to fundraise for them. We have to run coherent organizations. We haven't done that in the past necessarily.
Right.
We have to figure out
very
how
scattered, very incoherent.
We have to figure out how to do it, and the Grand New Party PAC is building the foundation for that. It hasn't been easy, but I feel like we're kind of out of the muck and we're ready to do big things before this year's over.
Yeah, I might have my.
And that's the hope.
Yeah, I might have my biases. I might be a bigot, but at least I'm a practical libertarian first. We all need liberty first before we can decide how to be wrong.
I too consider myself something of a libertarian.
Practical libertarian. We all got to band together to give us our liberties to all be messed up in our own.
We must have
ways.
the liberty to be dumb fucks.
Yes. Right.
That is the true liberty.
Is the true liberty.
You just can't put the dumb fucks in charge.
You try not to.
Do we want to read?
Oh yeah, read the quote from Neil Frisky, Representative Neil Frisky, who's got a 98% conservative voting record. He released a big press release against the budget last year when it was approved and when it was put into law. So this was his quote about the budget as it happened.
It's bad enough that this is the biggest, most expensive budget in Michigan history, but House Democrats have also injected far-left ideology and policy into something that should be as simple as funding our state to keep things running. All semblance of balance has been abandoned. Not a single Republican amendment was adopted. Vaccine mandates, radically based grant programs, racially based programs and policies that turn a blind eye if teachers coerce students into getting abortions are just a few of the left-wing dogmas that are carelessly thrown into the budget. And our constituents want answers as to why.
And so why did you vote for the budget, Gina?
Why'd you vote for this shit?
Why would you do such a thing? Why would you betray your voters? Well, it was going to pass anyway. Well, you don't rubber stamp it. You don't give it the credibility by attaching a Republican name to it. Every Republican should have voted no and said, this is the most evil budget in history.
Right.
They're bankrupting us. Look what's in this budget. They should have had, a press conference on the state capitol talking about how evil this thing was, talking about how every Republican there denouncing this thing and saying we're not going to go through with it. But instead, there were equivocating politicians like Gina Johnsen who went along with the status quo thinking, oh, how can I get some money, some favors out of this? She says it was just a wastewater plant, but I guarantee you behind the scenes, it was more than that. She's about advancement. She wants to be the next career politician in Lansing. She wants to be House Speaker. She has ambitions in her mind. And that's what this is about. That's what selling out in the budget was about. And it's unforgivable. And the constituents.
What's Trump say? It's bullshit.
That's another word for it.
Okay.
So, it's unforgivable. And, I know that, Gina led the house of prayer and a lot of people, Christian conservatives, really trusted her and, we prayed with her, but, also prayed with a lot of people on the campaign trail, George W. Bush. Then 9/11 happened.
I bought into George Bush because he said he was in a prayer meeting at his church and somebody stood up and said that the Lord's calling you to run for president. I bought into that shit.
Mm-hmm. So,
biggest neocon we've ever.
It can happen. It can happen. There are going to be people who go up there and hold the Bible up. There are going to be people who say that they're believers in Christ, but they're all about themselves.
Right.
And I don't know if it started that way with Gina, because at one point I was a fan of Gina Johnsen.
Hey, look at Judas. People vilify Judas. Judas was just desperate and in a moment and had access to the money. When the money got taken out of his hands, what did he do?
Killed himself.
He went to get more money. And when he saw Jesus was betrayed to death and walking away from the crowd like every other time, then he killed himself because he realized he was wrong.
Yeah. So for whatever reason that Gina did it, it was a huge lapse in judgment and she has to go. She has to go. She has to be replaced with someone new. And I think John Roach is a great example of someone who will do a great job as a rep, but just getting rid of her at all in the primary will send a shockwave through Lansing that, no, the grassroots are pissed that this is not going to be tolerated. Oh, if I vote for something like this, I might be the next one to go. I'm going to lose this comfy job. And that's the sort of thing that allows politicians to see the light. They don't see the light because you educate them. They see the light because you pressure them into being forced to do the right thing. And that's what eliminating Gina is about. It's about showing getting rid of a rhino, and it's about setting a good example that will make Lansing into a place where more conservative outcomes will be followed.
Lakeshore Confections?
LakeshoreConfections.com.
What's this? Do we want to do the... Mr. Coffee's telling me I got to keep the blue one, but you know what?
I got another blue one. Have it. I got another one for you.
You got another one?
I'll get it from my car. I got tons.
No, I'm gonna do the chocolate. I want to do the chocolate chip one.
I'll do the blue one.
Is Tim coming over for the all right, then do the...
Okay, I'll save you the vanilla. Okay.
Save you the vanilla.
Okay.
I'll do the...
I'll make sure that coffee...
And the blue one will be here for Mr. Coffee.
We'll make sure that coffee has a blue one for sure.
I can't rip the package. I got tiny man hands. If you go to this GNPpack.com, that's where Shane Trejo's pack is, the brand new party pack. When tyranny becomes law, resistance becomes duty. Picture of one of our greatest presidents ever, the president that started it all, George Washington. They're crossing the Potomac. I don't think that's an actual photograph, but it's pretty close. This one is the chocolate chip one.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you shooting
The hell
shit
was
at us?
that?
Oh, she shot something at us. So there's a grand new party. Go there, check out everything, events, donations, everything like that. They are doing the hard work to let you know who to vote for, why you should vote for them. They're doing that hard work, doing events, doing all that stuff to vet these candidates because we don't always have time. I rely on Shane to go, hey, who's this, who's that, who's that? And that's what these PACs are for or supposed to be for.
Some of them, the good ones.
The good ones. They're not supposed to be a rubber stamp and just funneling cash in. They're supposed to be something that works for us. That's what their designation. So it's a good website.
It is a good website, yes. Next strategies.
Okay, we need the web app.
Okay, I'll put you in contact with Jay. He's a really good guy.
That's good. So come back to us on the. That's good.
I'll be back.
You're just hitting the wall. Oh, all right. No, we're good. Shane's the man, leaving the blue one. That's what Mr. Coffee said. Thanks everybody for chiming in chat. Thank you for watching. Hit that Rumble thumbs up. If you're on some of our other platforms, I don't know why.
Well, say hit it louder for pulling clips on Twitch.
Oh, Lauder's pulling clips on Twitch.
Yeah, he's over there.
Thank you, Big Tim, for pulling clips louder over there. Appreciate you out there. Appreciate everybody. Like, share, and subscribe. Check it out. Check out the brand new party at gnppack.com. Also, if you're over on the west side of the state, go over there to Lakeshore Confections LLC in Muskegon. Check that out. And we will catch you guys next time. Shane and I are going to line up some of these other candidates and get them in here and have a conversations with them. So that we can get their profiles out there and let everybody know who the good people are. And we will just quietly not talk to the other ones. Email if you want to contact us for a good suggestion for the show of who somebody would be, or you want to fuck with Larry. This is my brain host at outlook.com and Twitch TV. This is my brain podcast. Check that out. And then I think the QR codes are going to pop up here and Tim's going to take us out. All right. Thank you guys. And thank you, Shane. Always a pleasure, my friend.
For sure.
Oh,
yeah, I don't have an outbound stream. Oh yeah, paper. You guys didn't really do a.
Yeah, we
don't have the overhead cam.
We don't
today,
have the overhead cam today, but we can still look at us shine. That looks good.
Let's clickety click those QRs
and
one last time,
mine, and we're good to go.
I keep forgetting to change the T-shirt link back to because we did Carrie's Carrie Leg's website.
Oh yeah,
and that's what's on the T-shirt overlay. I keep forgetting to change that.
Nice.
You know, we did the QRs. We did the QRs already. Don't worry about it.
You're good. All right. Catch you guys next time. Tim.
This is my brain.
Dad, that's an egg.
Yeah, that's an egg.
Honey,
Dude,
that's an egg.
seriously,
That's an egg.
It's a metaphor.
It's still an egg.
that's an egg.
I would challenge you.
That's an egg.
I know my brain is not actually an egg, okay? It's a metaphor.
Metaphor or not, that's not your brain.
It's just an egg.
Una cerveza para mí. My egg is my brain.
Can I at least have some bacon, maybe some sausage with that egg, though?
Oh, I want some bacon.
I want crepes.
Have some bacon and pancakes with that egg.
I'll take it with cheese.
Extra large brown cage-free eggs.
Can I have your brain with cakes?
A sausage and a little toast and potato.
That would be great.
Does it have antibiotics?
I don't know, man. I'm not good at this shit.
Well, they got to be able to resist some diseases.
You resist the disease.
Has it got any hormones?
Maybe. It's cage free.
Vegetarian?
Maybe.
Are they vegan?
No, I eat steak.
Never apologize and never explain.
Never apologize.
Yeah. Never apologize and never explain.